This is what a great indie movie with a lot of sexiness should look like. Anora is a dark comedy drama written and directed by Sean Baker, who's a filmmaker whose independent feature films are heavily focused on the lives of marginalized people, especially immigrants and sex workers. And this film is heavily focused on an exotic dancer slash sex worker. If you loved GTA 4, the one with Nico Bellic, then you will like this movie because it has that whole Coney Island and boardwalk thing that is in that movie, especially when you go to Nico Bellic's cousin's area. But we'll talk more about that later in the videos. But first of all, let's do the plot, and I'll also tell you things I like and things that I didn't like about this film. Spoiler alert, I liked most things about this film. An exotic dancer is paired with a young party boy, the son of a Russian oligarch, at a strip club, and he pays her to be his girlfriend for 1 week. And then it escalates into a marriage, but his parents will not let a whore into their bloodline if they can help it. This movie has a fair amount of nudity and a copious amount of sex scenes. So if you're gonna watch this movie with your family members, i.e. your mother, maybe dad, maybe friends, maybe your kids, because you thought the name Anora sounds innocent and sweet, you would be wrong. It is sweet, but definitely not innocent. The real conflict of this movie doesn't kick in till about 40 minutes into the movie because it's trying to set up the whole scene, so it's not a deal breaker, but it does feel a little slow at first. I think the movie wanted to get all the fucking out of the way because young people think their life will always be peachy because everything starts off peachy, and I think that is absolutely the right tone for this film. The first half of the film feels like a coming-of-age movie spliced in with a little bit of amateur porn. So that's With the amount of sex scenes in this film, my old ass was thinking, why don't you two just sometimes sit down and talk? Like, I'm losing weight just seeing how much calories these young people are burning in these scenes, and it's just have a chat, It'll be fine. Or maybe I'm jealous. However, what this film did exceptionally well was look high budget for a film that cost $6 million. They shot some of the scenes in real places with actual real people. Well, they didn't know that they were on film, and I'm sure they probably signed a release form, but then again, the camera was focused more on the characters and it was shot on a long lens, so it's not like the camera was actually at the exact location. So I think that's the loophole. It kind of allowed the movie to have authentic moments with the people around. It just worked. And also the use of luxurious yet cheap locations was just chef's kiss. You wouldn't even notice the lack of budgets because they shot from angles that made things look a lot larger than they actually were. And that is not an innuendo. Oh, is it? For example, they had this plane scene and they just had a cluster of possibly 6 to 8 people in one spot, so the camera doesn't pan down the aisle, so you don't have to tell it's a full-scale plane. You just actually think she's traveling in economy and is in that one spot, and that's just brilliant. Now for the luxurious home, they just kept it to 1 floor, and 2 floors, 1 for the room and 1 for the living room, and it doesn't try to explore the whole thing, so you don't have to pay for the locations you're not actually going to use. That's how you do an indie film. They did such a great job. Now, the GTA 4 reference I made earlier in this video is because it does actually feel like the scenes where Nico Bellic is in that Coney Island area, the boardwalk, and you have a few Russians, a few Armenians, whores here and there, the gritty nature of the area. It's just chef's kiss. You would feel, wow. The familiarity. Yes, you can definitely tell I like this film, and it has a strong rewatchability. The 2 main characters in this film absolutely delivered, and then there is an additional character added somewhere halfway through the film, and then he delivered as well. So I feel this is how an indie film should be made. Most of the actors in this film are relatively unknown, and you wouldn't even care or even notice. However, there is this one character that really rubs me wrong. He's got this whole gangster thing with his hair slicked back, and for some reason, he is the weakest link in this film. Not because he's a bad actor, it's just that the character looks strong and you expect him to do some slapping, but he just kind of doesn't. He was weak. If anything, he got punched in the nose and he complained about it through the whole film, which was absolutely hilarious. But at first I just wanted him to slap someone or maybe, shoot someone or something. He just seemed, he had the whole look and he didn't deliver, and it was just weird. Which again is hilarious in a dark comedy type of way. I'm gonna go ahead and rate this movie a surprising 8 out of 10. I thoroughly enjoyed it, and I thought I wouldn't. I mean, there was a fair amount of booty, so that's probably something that kept me up. I'm not sure yet. The verdicts are not in. And that right there is my 2 cents. If you like the cut of my jib in these reviews, please like and subscribe. I'll see you in the next video where I challenge a paraplegic to musical chairs. I don't even know if that's in focus.